Listen, this is going to tick some people off, but I do not want to associate myself with being African American. That is out the door, and I'll tell you why. Now, I have had discussions with people who, Black Americans who had went over to Ghana. You remember that time when the president was like, oh, we want, Black people from the diaspora to come over to Ghana. We're going to welcome you with open arms. You remember that? Well, a lot of people that I know that went over to Ghana, and I was going to go too. I had drunk the Kool-Aid, and I'm like, well, shoot, let me go. But the people who went over there ended up coming back. The stories that they were telling, what was happening over there. They were getting scammed. They were purchasing land. Come to find out that the land wasn't even, in their names, that somebody else owned it, and there was nothing that they can do. They were spending thousands of dollars over it. So basically what was happening is it was kind of like it appeared to be a lure for, Black Americans to go over to Ghana so that they can get scammed, right? And so they can get disrespected. And I'll talk about the disrespect. Now, there are a lot of videos that are circulating now where people are telling of their experiences at, how the Africans treated them over in Ghana. And so what they're saying basically validates what a lot of the people who I spoke with were talking about. They said when they got over there, they were so disrespected, right? And when they got over there, it was kind of like people just assumed that they had all of this money and they were just a big money grab. They were scammed out of their money. They were paying higher prices and everything. Now, there was this recent video that I saw on YouTube. Now, this wasn't the experience of the people that I personally spoke with, but they are now at the point where they're unaliving people, Black Americans. This one lady that I followed on YouTube, and I'll probably, post her video at some point. She said that she had heard some news that one of the Black women who went over there was found unalived behind her so-called property. Then she went on to say that it's now becoming typical that when they go there and they're out amongst Africans, that they are looked upon as like dogs, very disrespected. So I have chalked it up and I have said to myself, I'm like, you know what, based on these stories, the personal stories that I've heard from, and then all of the videos that are circulating about Africa, and I know Africa is a huge continent made up of different countries. I'm specifically talking about Ghana, but I know it's the same in other countries, but let's focus on Ghana. Those people are jealous of Black Americans. Don't think for one moment that they are not envious or jealous. They watch Black culture intensely. They mimic everything that we do. They love our music, our style, everything. They are watching us. And as a result, for some reason, they're jealous. And I wonder, what's the jealousy and envy is all about? So it boiled down to this. I think it's because of our freedom. And the reason why I say this is because I had already posted some months back that my ancestors were already here, that they did not come on boats. They were already here. They were not slaves. Oh my God, when I said that, and that video went somewhat viral, when I said that, people were coming for me in the comments, foaming at the freaking mouth. And you know who were foaming at the mouth and calling me all kinds of names and telling me I was lying? Were African people. Where one woman, and I looked on her page, her forehead was probably about 12 feet high, said that you will still be a slave in our eyes, dog. That's what she said to me. So I say this to you, Black people, here in the United States of America. Africa is not your home. The United States of America is your home.
Ghana's markets are where inflation bites hardest. Here, some goods are priced beyond the reach of many customers. This is forcing shoppers like Chantal to either reduce their food budgets or take some items off the menu.
Accra is a very different place compared to what Abdul Ghani Badenchki is used to. But it's where he and his family fled to, given the crisis back in Syria. Badenchki had been to Ghana before, so it made sense to seek refuge here.
Ghana is a lawless state. There is no scrutiny on crime that we would call.
And my life has changed, not necessarily for the better, here in Ghana. And I'm not here to bash Ghana or bash anybody in Ghana or bash the U.S., which I never do. But there's some things to be said.
You will struggle in Ghana. Nobody's even ready to give you that benefit of that.
I have put out several videos of people's testimonies, their experiences on land, property being taken, being demolished, being stolen behind these corrupt practices. I know people who have been murdered behind property in Ghana.
So, good morning, Africans. I hope where you are, you're doing fine. Yes. So, today let's go all the way from East Africa to West Africa. Let's go to the number one country of choice for African Americans, or rather Black Americans who are living in USA, moving to Africa. Ghana has become the hotspot. Ghana has become the number one choice for African American brothers living in the States. This is because in the year 2019, the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, ensured or announced publicly that African Americans can now go to Ghana visa-free, and Ghana is going to welcome them. Ghana was even offering citizenship for African American, people of African descent living outside Africa. That's so wonderful of Ghana. It's so beautiful of Ghana. But the reasons behind this is what might blow your mind out. You understand? So Ghana's Nana Akufo-Addo has promised this. And yes, we've seen that the economy of Ghana was very down by that time. But since the African Americans step foot in Ghana, the economy of Ghana really went up. The Ghanaian cedi is the third strongest currency in Africa. The first one is the Tunisian currency. The second one is the Libyan. The third one is the Ghanaian. I think the second one is the one from Djibouti. And then the third one is the Ghanaian cedi. The Ghanaian cedi is always ranging between 9, 10, 11 against the US dollar. That's a very strong currency if you think of it from an African perspective. This is because it is strong because the African Americans who came there made it strong like that. You understand? Now, to balance this equation, the African Americans have really built the economy of Ghana to go up. Now, to balance these equations, the government of Ghana should also do something else for the African Americans. The visa and the visa-free only is not enough. You understand? Now, Ghana, you understand, you can never own land for up to 100 years. You can never own land permanently. You can only own land for up to 100 years. That's all over the country, all over the country. You understand? But in Kenya, we also have the same policy, but only in the city, like Nairobi city. You can never own the land completely. This is a method that the government has put in place to ensure that it continues extorting people and extracting money from their pockets. So African Americans are moving to Ghana, and they're moving, most of them are living in the urban areas of Ghana, say Accra, but some of them are living in the rural areas. I've seen videos where African Americans are living off-grid, and I really loved that. There's this person who left US. He moved to Ghana with his wife and children. I think it was the UK, not the US. I've seen a number of videos trying to show us that people of African descent, Americans of African descent, some are living outside the urban areas off-grid, and some are living in the urban areas. But now the Ghanaian people are having problems with the African American. They are thinking that African Americans are invaders. African Americans both living in the city and African Americans both living off-grid. Now, African Americans are now becoming targets to Black Africans, sorry. African Americans are now becoming targets to Ghanaians. You understand? Both of them are blacks, but now one type of black is having a difficulty with another type of black. Ghanaians, I think, are having problem with Africans who are living there. They think that they've come to grab something. The Africans have come to steal something of them. You understand? Now, to really solidify my argument and for you to also have a given perspective from an African American, I want us to watch this video of a couple that is living in Ghana. They are going to share some of the struggles they experience as Ghanaians, as African Americans who are living in Ghana. You understand? Maybe we might call them Ghanaians, but they are Ghanaians, African Americans. Let's listen to their argument, and then by the end of the video, I'll share with you my thoughts, where we will also have a deep critical analysis.
Okay, so the first thing is lying, like petty lies, you know, lying for no reason. You see me? So that is one of the things we deal with on a daily basis here. You know what I mean? And people just disappear.
Yeah.
Like people just appear and disappear for no reason. You know? Instead of just telling you that, you know, I can't make it, or
I have somewhere else to go,
yeah,
or I'm not able to
do it until next week, or
yeah,
so. Like, they just disappear.
Yeah.
You know, and you might buck them up in the street and they give you some story, a lie again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's a daily thing. It's like a routine for them. So.
And it's like the next time you see them as well, they just add something else to the story that
they will give you a story long from here, but straight past Accra. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, they have a story to begin with. They tell you something because that's a kind of like a part of the culture, to just tell you something. So they will just tell you whatever they think you might want to hear,
yeah,
and whatever that will also make them just kind of stay out of any bad feelings with you. But they're not looking at it like it's a problem or it's an issue, because it's just how they do. Yeah. So it's not like a reliable situation where you say, okay, you make a plan with somebody to meet them at a certain time and then they honor it, or you have you get someone to do a job and they know that they're gonna get their money and everything, and it's not an issue. But when it comes down to even getting the job done properly, they might want to kind of tell you a story or do it some kind of way and say, okay, I have to get this or that and I'll be back like Monday. And then Monday comes, you don't see from them, you don't hear from them, and they just see you and it's just like, hey, like, you know. So
sometimes you don't see them. They disappear. It's like they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and reliability is the next thing. Like,
it's huge.
It's hard to rely on people here.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
To rely on somebody. You know. As we said, they just tell you what you want to hear. So.
Yeah.
And this is a thing too. Like, we have to mention, people have to be very, very careful, because if you're seeking for someone to do a job, anybody you ask, they will tell you, I can do the job.
Yes.
Even if they can't do the job.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you give them your money and stuff, and they might disappear with your money too. You have to know, you have to pay as you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They will disappear with your money.
But even just to say that they can do a job, just so they can get the work, but they actually don't know what they're doing.
And the work, like,
they really don't know what they're doing. So again, like, coming into somewhere, you just have to be aware that there's obviously good, there's obviously bad, and then there's things that's in between, right? There's things that it might not be good like where you're coming from, but you're willing to work with it because another thing is better than something else, right? So
yeah, so everywhere have its good and its bad, right? So we don't really like to complain about stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, just as we can mention the good, we can also mention the bad, right?
Yeah. It's just those kinds of things that you just have to know what you'll be willing to put up with and what you might not be willing to put up with.
And also, it's important for us to give our take,
Yes.
because we're living here and this is the struggles that we are facing
We're
here.
facing,
So,
right.
you know what I mean? It may open your eyes, or, you know, maybe you want to choose a different country, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But Africa is big same way, so you can, you know, yeah. Another thing is, do not lend people money.
Yeah.
Like,
If you have it to give someone, if someone asks for a loan
yeah,
and you have it to give them, just give
Just
them.
give it. Don't
and
expect
don't expect it back. Don't expect it
Yeah.
back, because there's just always a story.
yeah, and nice. And that's when people disappear the most, when you
Yeah.
lend them money. You know? And some people, you lend them the money and they see you, they say next week come, they don't say anything, you don't say anything, they don't say anything, and they see you all the time and they will not say anything at all. It's like you didn't lend them anything.
Yeah.
And then there's another set of people who you can't get their phones anymore.
It is good to listen to what the brother and the sister has said, the couple has said, because many of African Americans are, you know, they still want to move to Africa. They are in, like, the bad things that I don't want to name in this video are all happening to them, and now they want to move back to the continent. If it is Ghana, I might tell you this: it's high time you think twice about moving to Ghana. The struggles such as rural areas, these are all over the world, but we also have some problems which are exclusive to Ghana itself. We have problems which are exclusive to a particular country, and if these problems are something that you find to be life-threatening, particularly life-threatening and scamming, I don't really advise for no one to go in such a place or such a country. Ghana first showed us that it could really take care of our people, but now with the passing time, Ghana has really emphasized in terms of the number of deaths we've seen. West Africa is really finishing up African Americans. It's really doing that. The perspective that the sisters have given, I call them perspectives, might be different. Most of them might be common, but some of them are very different from the perspective of other African Americans. We've had African Americans, or rather Black Americans, such as Go Black to Africa. Go Black to Africa has really emphasized people not to go to Ghana. He's really emphasizing that. For quite some time, I wouldn't agree with him until I have seen for myself, or rather I have heard for myself, the number of deaths that are from African Americans who are perishing in the hands of Africans. African Americans who are being scammed in the hands of Africans. Now it's upon you as an African American to decide which country you want to go to. If you choose to move to Ghana, then live with the circumstances, live with the suffering, live with everything that might come with it. Because if you take it, you have to take it with its whole package. We still have other African countries unexplored and also welcoming. We also have East Africa, we have Central Africa. Even though Central Africa, some countries such as DRC are not really convenient for staying. We also have other countries in South Africa, Southern Africa. We have Namibia, we have Mozambique, we have Lesotho, we have Malawi. We have so many countries that have also seen African Americans thrive. We also have Tanzania. Now, if Ghana is not working for you, other African countries are working for you. Remember, there are 54. Ghana is just one of them. You are left with 53 more choices to explore. And if you really want to make it big, if you really want to explore and make something out of your time to be worthwhile, I really advise that you choose a country that is favorable for you and your family. That's all I have for today. If you enjoyed this video, kindly do subscribe to the channel. It really helps me bring more videos to you. I hope you make the right choice about moving back to Africa. My work is to make sure that you have everything right. Yes. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video, where we will also have a deep critical analysis on the matters of Africa and issues affecting African people. See you in the next video.